Welcome back to Pro League, boys. It's Tuesday night, and it's time for some more great Pro League action. I'm Wolf. With me today is Moonglade. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Wolf. I'm very excited to be here once again, and we got some pretty interesting matchups today with some pretty unorthodox players we don't see very often.
Yeah.
It's going to make for a really, interesting night here.
Yeah, just kind of like yesterday, we saw some weird games, some weird matchups that you don't normally see in Pro League, just simply because a lot of players are traveling, and so there's some of the better players that you see on these teams sometimes can't come out, so it gives an opportunity to some of the B teamers to actually come out and see if they can shine.
Yeah, exactly right. And, starting off here tonight, two of the, the lesser teams so far in this league with StarTale-yoe and Samsung Galaxy. They've got a lot of work ahead of them, and today is a good opportunity for both sides to see who can kind of get the advantage with starting off with Daisy versus Journey. Some players we don't normally see ever come into this league.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've only seen Journey once. Daisy, this is his very first time playing in Pro League. So two B teamers basically coming in here. Journey has been around for a while on SKT, never really broke out, never had like a big breakout moment. I guess he never actually found a lot of success. Whereas Daisy found a lot of success in Taiwan and just recently joined StarTale. So he didn't move to Yoe, just to clarify that for everybody. He moved to StarTale, but of course the teams are linked. So they're called technically StarTale-yoe. There's a shot at Leenock.
Leenock, a very important player for StarTale-yoe. He's done a lot of lifting in the past as well as Curious. And I think both of them are going to have to do pretty well today if they want to get through this match.
Yeah. Shot at Bravo there on the right side as well. Another former SKT player. And Tier, and there's Legend on the left side looking very stressed out today. This match matters a lot, of course, for StarTale-yoe because they're currently 0-2 right now in the rankings. And not a place you want to be. Speaking of which, here's our big rankings. Samsung, like you said, also down there at the bottom. 1-1 with a +1 indicator. A win today in any form would actually put them up tied for second. So they would jump up quite a bit, but we are only, of course, in week 4 here, so it's not, we're still fairly early at this point.
Yeah, we're still early days, so there is a little bit of leeway there, but you want to start making your move now. Otherwise, it's simply going to be too late. We already see some teams like SKT move ahead in the bracket and get much higher up.
Yeah, for sure. Here's our winners rankings. You can see Rogue with his win yesterday jumped up 8 places to tie with 4th. So we've got a bunch of 4th place players and first. But of course, it's just based on the fact that the difference is simply 1 point at 7 and 6.
Yeah, and here is today's matches. Starting off, we have Daisy versus Journey on Expedition Lost, Hack versus Deer on Deadwing, Curious versus Reality on Merry-Go-Round.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be interesting. And Leenock versus Armani on Vani Research.
Yep, and an ace match will be on King Sejong Station if needed. I hope we get to see that because that's my favorite map in the pool right now in general, and I just love ace matches.
I love Vani Research, man. I think that's a fantastic map.
I'm definitely starting to like it a little bit more as well. So there's a little bit of a quiz event here. If you guys can't speak Korean, you're probably not going to be able to participate, but if you answer some of these quiz questions, you might actually win a prize. That's just something to keep in mind if you come down here. Instead of worrying about the quiz, though, just know that if you come to the studio, it's absolutely free. I would recommend coming like 30 minutes before the show if you want to have the absolute seat that you want, as people do kind of show up a little bit later. So if you come a little bit early, you'll probably get the best seat. But otherwise, people ask me that all the time, do I have to pay money? Do I have a reserve? Nope, just come down.
Just come down. It's all free down here. And plenty of seats for everyone, on the second floor or on the bottom. We get ready for our first match here today. We're going to have an introduction of the players in just a moment. We get to talk a little bit more in depth about them.
All right, Daisy, one of these Taiwanese Koreans, if you will, has been to Taiwan. He used to be on Wei Spiders, moved back now to StarTale, amongst other Taiwanese pros, or Taiwanese Koreans, I should say, like Leenock and San.
Yep, exactly. And this is obviously his first time playing in Pro League. PVT is statistically his weakest matchup, which is coming in at a little bit of a disadvantage, and he's generally known as a cheesy player. Out of his 5-year track record, he does cheese a lot. This matchup a little bit harder to cheese in these days. We'll have to see if he's got anything special planned or he's going to play more of a straight-up PVT.
Yeah, that's what we're going to have to wait and see. Now he's up against this guy, Journey. Now, Journey is a former SKT player who's only played in Pro League twice, but has played in basically every GSL and Star League qualifiers that's ever come up. This guy is definitely really good. He has knocked out big names before in qualifiers, but he's never been consistent in an individual league sense, and he's also not fielded very often in Pro League, so not a lot to go on with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, there was a reason he got kind of kicked out of SKT, right? Like, and moved to Samsung. Well, one of the teams that's struggling just a little bit more. He hasn't really found his feet just yet. He hasn't found any success in those qualifiers, as you were saying. He's been playing in all of them. And you know what? But besides all that, PvP is his best matchup.
And by the way, Moonglade has the highest prediction accuracy rate, the opposite of myself, who has the worst for round 2. So keep this in mind. There will be a reward for the winner at the end of the round.
Oh my goodness, I'm looking forward to that.
By the way, just to give you some stats, Moonglade's 25 out of 42, like the exact one at number 1. All right, guys, let's go into game number 1 here at Pro League. Down here in the bottom left, in pink for StarTale-yoe. It's Daisy, his first time ever playing in Pro League.
And up here in the top right, it is Journey.
Yeah. So, two newer faces here, and that makes for kind of an exciting match because I feel like there's no clear favorites in this one. I mean, I think there's a lot more history. There's a lot more matches to look up for Daisy because he's played in a ton of online cups. I think if I'm not mistaken, Daisy even was on once the European team ESC. I mean, he's basically been all over the place trying to use his talents outside of Korea. Similar to a player like San, there's a lot of players that are like this on StarTale-yoe, really similar, liking to take their talents elsewhere outside of Korea. Some of the weaker regions.
Yeah, and generally it's kind of a lot of people are skeptical when they do come back to Korea, when they've kind of become those foreigner Koreans where they do only sort of participate in foreign tournaments and whatnot, that can they actually still mix it with the best in Korea? And we have actually seen that as a yes from a lot of the players that have made it back over, like San. He has been doing well for himself. Same with Yoda. They do have found their feet here. And we'll have to wait and see if it's going to be the same for Daisy. This is kind of his breakout match.
Yeah. And like you said, he's quite known to be aggressive, a little bit of a cheeser. We've seen him do that a lot in past in his televised matches. And that's actually kind of how the Taiwan region goes. You see a lot of timing-oriented players really thrive there, players who really love to be aggressive, like San, for example, especially in the Pro Losses. Even a player like Sase, who was training in Taiwan, is known for being very aggressive, doing a lot of gateway timings and things like that.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of Protoss in Taiwan as well.
There really is.
Very Protoss heavy sort of place, region.
We do have a gasless one rack to span, and there's Parting, by the way. Now, Parting and Daisy are very close friends. I know that they've actually known each other for a really long time, and I actually ran into them on the street once. And Stardust too, yeah.
Yeah. A couple of friends supporting him today. That's great to see. Very important match for him. And yeah, we do see that one racks expand. Gasless, so an interesting start here. Something we don't see that often these days from Journey. Usually you'll see more of the aggressive types of the Mind Drops of Marines and the Hellion Rumbuys and whatnot, with a lot more gas early on, a lot more aggression. Mind Drop's just been finding so much work in this matchup.
Yeah, it's really been something that Process have been struggling to deal with, especially here in this studio, like in Pro League and also in Star League. And this eBay block is so annoying. Wow. I mean, the STV did get pretty low, so this is not going to be a lasting problem, but with no Zealot to clear this up, he's going to have to rely on the eBay. We're going to see these rocks, the tower collapse here, so he can actually block this wall off, so that's kind of nice.
It's interesting that it is called a rock tower, by the way.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange.
It is kind of weird. I completely agree.
But to each his own. 2 more racks is going down, and now the gas, so he obviously wants to get the bio out ASAP. With 3 racks, you kind of you're pretty safe against any sort of all-in early on. We have seen in other matches where we've kind of seen like Blinkstalker all-ins against the 3 racks after CC, and it kind of just fails because there's simply too much bio production.
I was really scared there for a second. For a second, I thought he was going to actually collapse the rocks on top of his Marines. That was really close. We have seen that happen before.
Oh man, that would be That'd be quite tilting at this point. One of the most important games for him, especially to start off this round.
Yeah. Oh, we do have a Stargate coming out here for Daisy, and knowing his tendencies, it's almost 100%, if not more than 100% sure that we're going to see an Oracle coming out here.
Yeah. Usually a great follow-up against a very early command center. You want to try and do some economic damage. Well, there isn't many units there to defend against it.
Yep, and there it is. So Oracle is queued up right now, and back at home, he's just kind of Pool and Marines getting his upgrade set up. He's getting those additional barracks added. The E-Bay is coming up. He's going to have this eBay in time to get turrets out. Let's see if he just, kind of blindly commits, because he has no scouting information whatsoever since he didn't go Reaper and he didn't scan or anything like that. So,
well, there's one at the natural. Let's see if he puts one at the main. He's going to have to if he wants to defend both sides.
Yeah.
And is he going to get that really fast +1 ranged as well? He does have enough for it.
He may. We're going to see this Oracle come into the main base. I think the Marines are actually waiting in the main. Yep, there they are.
Yeah, they're actually completely in position for this. I think we're actually going to see almost no damage from this, so long as he micros these SCVs when he has to.
Yep.
Still no turret in the main base there. Kind of gets me a little worried.
Yeah, because if you leave your Marines for just 1 second, this can happen. He's going to try to sneak in here and get one. Nope. Good coverage here by Journey.
It's not going to last forever, though. Like, if he actually wants to use the Marines for aggression, like, he's going to have to put a turret down sometime.
Yeah. He's even actually making a bunker at the front because he's a bit nervous about possibly a frontal attack while the Marines are in the main base. I kind of like this choice, but it does show that he's a little bit nervous, I guess, about aggression. And versus Daisy, I don't blame him.
Yeah, very important, especially against Daisy. And one other thing I'm kind of noting here is he hasn't actually used that eBay to start upgrading the Marines. Finally, he does, but he was sitting at 200 gas for a very long time.
Polt is here, too.
Oh, wow. Everyone's here today.
Everyone who travels to other regions.
They all traveled to Korea to cheer on Daisy, no doubt.
Yep.
Spent all that money. He has to win today.
He has to win today, man. By the way, we have an Immortal on the way. See if he queues up another one, or if he's just kind of doing this for safety before he gets his eBay, or Robo-Bay, excuse me.
Well, he's got armor on the way as well, plus Immortal. I feel like this could very well be, like a 2-base Immortal aggression. Oh, but as I say, that Robotics Bay on the way, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like he just wanted to do it for safety. I mean, he's got literally one gateway unit on the map, which is his Stalker, so...
Well, you know what? We have seen this before as well, where it's, like 2 Immortals into 1 Colossus and aggression from there. It could be the case here today.
Yeah. That's definitely something we have seen in the past. He hasn't really gotten much done with his Oracle, which is a bit concerning. We are seeing a few more gates being added, but doesn't necessarily mean aggression just yet, because he doesn't have, any gates at all except one to speak of right now, so needs to add a few of those for sure. But, very unfortunate his Oracle hasn't done much for him. He scouts with it. He, gets a revelation on these units. He tags them, but
that's still pretty good. Like, as long as he knows where everything is, as long as he doesn't get surprised by any drops, he's in a pretty good place. Sure, he didn't get the damage done, but he's maintained it for now. And I think just knowing where all the bio is going to be the next step in him kind of getting advantage, and maybe even going for that attack, which I think is going to be coming.
Yep. Well, this Observer is still scouting everything. He's going to go ahead and kill these rocks that he created earlier to re-free up that path. They have a Phoenix on the way and +1. I was going to say that he was just going to make a Phoenix or two to help shut down drops, but with the +1 on the way, it looks like he might be committing to more of a Phoenix Colossus composition.
Yeah, it seems that way. He's upgrading air attack, so maybe we are going to see a bit of a delayed third base. I mean, look at where the third bases are on this map, which is one of the problems with this map for Zerg and Protoss. It's so far out there that if Terrans get very aggressive and start dropping all over the place, very easy to lose it.
Yeah. Checking over here for a third base. Just going to pressure at the front, but it's going to see that Colossus and the Sentry and have to walk away. Committing up this ramp is just, it's a tough call to make. He has +1. He has combat shields, but if he messes it up, it's going to cost him a lot. I don't know if he should do it.
Well, I mean, that scan kind of just gave away everything as well. He sees 6 gates, well, 3 of them more on the way. Colossus range on the way, more Colossus making. So he's like, well, it seems like he's really gearing up for some powerful 2-base attack here. So I should really get onto my my Viking production, which he is, making his second starport, and yeah, just going into the sort of composition he needs to deal with this now.
Yeah. And you can actually drop with this double medevac drop to draw the attention away. And he just wants to continue to slow down this push, if that's in fact what's going to come, as he gets ready with those Vikings.
Oh, I wondered, like, is he actually going to try and be aggressive on top of this? I was like, that's a little too much, I think.
No, this Oracle scouts this. The Nexus cannon goes down at the natural.
Gets out. No damage.
Yeah, he just walks away.
I think it's a pretty good sort of movement from Journey there, triggering the the overcharge and just going back. It's perfect.
Anything he can do to buy time to get more Vikings out right now.
Oh, this could be awkward, though.
Yeah, this Phoenix is making this very awkward indeed. A big stim to run away. That's a lot of energy he's going to have to use to heal these up.
But while this is happening, the double medivac on the left is just going to go straight into the main base where there is nothing to defend.
Nothing at all. And this is going to be a ton of damage potentially. And Daisy's going to have to make a tough choice on how he's going to deal with this.
Oh my god, he's just going to lose all his probes.
Oh my god, that mine.
There.
Okay, the mine doesn't actually even go off, but it doesn't matter. He's going to lose the Nexus. Could actually unpower that Forge, but it looks like he's not paying attention. He's trying to gear up to defend at home because if he just holds this, he wins the game, basically. He has 6 Vikings, a ton of Marauders.
He has to kill with this attack. And I don't think he can if the boys are pulled as well. He's going to have more than enough sort of to tank for it.
There's a lot of Phoenixes here, too, taking out those Vikings. But look, the Bio is already pretty much on top of these Colossi. SCV's struggling to get in there. The Zealots tanking a lot here. And this game could get pretty crazy, Moonglade, because now those Phoenixes have taken out most of the Vikings. A lot of Stalkers here. And the Probes are with the army as well, which means he can actually make, forward pylons and things like that if this becomes an elimination race.
Yeah, this is actually getting very awkward. He needs to start utilizing these Vikings a little bit more, trying to get rid of the Colossi. If he can get rid of the Colossi, his Sim City is going to really help him out in dealing with the gateway units.
Yep, well, that one Colossus, so actually 2 of those Colossi are starting to get insanely low. And the Vikings here starting to kite against the Phoenixes. Really nice to dump, but the Gateway Army is still pretty strong up here at the front. He still has both Immortals.
Whoa, some really missed micro there from Journey. He's really kind of crumbling under the pressure. His production is completely in tatters at this point. He's not going to be able to get a Bio Army up at this point. He's going to have to lift everything, I think, and try.
Well, I wonder where the next Nexus is going to be made here. I guess he's going to try to take the natural. I suppose he could take the main base because the main base is like the safest choice, but it doesn't have very many minerals left. But he has enough money to make a Nexus. He has 510 minerals. He is being revealed right now, but there's nothing that Journey could do to kill those buildings. More probes coming back.
Yeah, I think he should just maybe even just warp in to try and kill, because getting a Nexus up when you're up against 2 CCs like this, there's no way you're going to maintain a game at this point. You're going to have to kill or just lose the game.
Can you check and make sure the gateways are still powered? Because I don't even know. Okay, they are.
Yeah, they all are. And with that Bio that's came back with those 2 medivacs, there's a pretty sizable army at that natural. I wonder, can Daisy even break him at this point?
It's going to be tough. There's 2 bunkers down there, a few medivacs, and 4 Vikings. A lot of sentries in this army. Sentries don't do very much damage, especially when there's medivacs to help and the bunkers. The sends a hallucination scout. Oh, I think he's starting to realize it's kind of now or never, because 6 barracks are just finishing up right now as well at that 3rd base location where he's got that other CC. Oh, a Phoenix gets picked off as well.
Man.
This is starting to look nasty. And the probes aren't even really going to be that helpful in a fight here at all.
Not at all, yeah. He's essentially ran out of time. He was against the clock at this point. As soon as those 2 medivacs went into his main base and killed his economy, he had to make something happen. It looks like he's going to try and play it out from here, but it's going to be 2 base against 0 for the next, 2 minutes.
This is so unique because this is one of these situations where he can actually escape from the main base because those rocks are dead. I feel like what he has to do is kind of try to use his Colossi range and try to siege up one of these bases, but I think that timing window may have passed. If you look at his face, you can see he's really frustrated here, but I feel like if he had, instead of just waiting there and trying to decide what to do for so long, if he had just tried to sneak around to the 3rd base and not attack down that choke or maybe attack into the bunkers, he might have had a better chance. But now I think just too much time has passed. He scouts all these barracks and he knows he's in a really rough spot.
Well, I think he really needed to be on top of that double drop on the left as well, because he did see it. He did trigger that overcharge, and he should have kept these Phoenixes in place for just a little bit longer to force them back so he can get his army across the map with his economy intact, so he could warp in at the front and maybe just actually kill him.
Yeah. It would have made things... It would have made a totally different game. You can see Daisy even has one hand off the keyboard here for a second because he's just waiting for this Nexus to finish so he can get some money. He does have a ton of production, but he doesn't have money to spend yet. He has 32 pros, but that's on 1 base saturation once this comes up, whereas we have 2 bases fully saturated plus mules for Journey, and he also has a ton of production. The only thing he's missing is a starport to make more Vikings, but at this point he might just be able to overwhelm with Marauders, and he does have that starport about to finish with a reactor able to finish as well for him to make double Vikings. So I just don't see Daisy coming back into this. He immediately starts a Phoenix once he has money. He's trying to get those back up, but this is going to be a really tough game to come back in.
Well, I think eventually just going to be simply too much Bio for him to have any sort of buffer for his Colossus for, and he will just eventually go down. The supplies are simply too different at this point. 50 supply indifference. It's only going to get bigger from there because it's 2 base against 1.
A little bit of discussion here from our pro gamer trio. And he's actually poising around the left side of the map. He could actually just easily send one drop into the main and like wipe out all the pylons. And I think he's starting to realize this because he has these Widow Mines here. Well, he's actually just going to attack the base straight up. He can fly. So if it becomes a base trade with this tiny Protoss army, he could just lift away.
It's kind of an interesting choice from Journey. I feel like he could just simply fight the army head on at this point. It's not like it's gotten much bigger. We do see a big warping of Zealots, and maybe is Daisy going to simply rotate down and maybe just try and deal with the army?
Well, I think he might have to. I mean, it's the only chance he's going to have to fight it straight up when it's not in a fortified position with bunkers and stuff, but I don't even know if he can fight this army anyways. There's no Vikings with it. And I guess the reason why he doesn't just do a small drop to kill those bases is maybe he's concerned Phoenixes are going to find it. And maybe that's why he wants to walk across like this, but just going to start wiping out these gateways and getting ready to set up a retreat path here from the backdoor rocks again.
He gets a scan up. He does see the Phoenix.
Daisy knows he can't fight this straight up. He's going to have to hope for a really good engagement.
He's going to have to pray for some perfect force fields because that's a huge concave.
Yeah, and look at this. There's two armies that are big enough. The Mothership Core goes down here now. The Nexus is going to fall as well. He's got twice the supply, and that Widow Mine hit is glorious.
I mean, even if he does wipe out this bio army, there's a massive bio army that just killed his only Nexus as well.
He only has like 3 structures left too, Moonglade. He's got like 2 assimilators left.
Oh, man. He's essentially gone at this point. He's going to go for the fight. He's going to try and trade efficiently.
Picks up some of those Marauders. The Immortals on the ground do a lot of work here, but he barely cleans this army up, maybe, but then there's a second army that's coming with a ton of Vikings.
I didn't even think
he can't
efficiently cleans this up, man. He's going to finally get rid of it, but who cares? Look how many Vikings there to come in and clean up the last Colossus.
That's it. That's going to be game. Very frustrating loss here for Daisy, as you guys can see. GG. And Journey takes game number 1. It was kind of a fun game, though.
It was an interesting game. It was one that we predicted as well. You know, the 2-base kind of style of Daisy stays strong. He hasn't really evolved from that. And good for him for choosing his own sort of path, but it is a little predictable at this point.
Yeah. A little bit predictable, easily scouted and prepared for. Drops really threw him for a bit of a curveball because he had to slow down his push in the first place because of them, and then when they came, he just didn't have anything. He had to like pull his probes off, and he wanted to force that base trade. And then I feel like, he was very indecisive in the main base. He just kind of stood there after he killed the production and waited for a while. Instead of like trying to walk around the army, instead of walking down the ramp, walking around to maybe the third base or try to siege up the bunkers from the front and pick off those Vikings. And we did see a few Vikings like pick off a Phoenix here or there as well. And once your Phoenix count is gone in this situation, you just can't attack.
Yeah, I mean, the moment those drops went into his main base, he was all in. He had to make it happen then on there, or he just lost the game. And he could have, warped in 4 Zealots and had an assimilator at the back of the Terran's main base or something to keep him alive while he tries to kill the Terran. I think that was his only chance.
Yeah. Very, very